Picture this. You're driving alone through the desolate backroads of Utah, the sun setting behind the distant mesas. The radio's static is your only companion when suddenly something catches your eye. A figure, not quite human, not quite animal, darting between the shadows of the juniper trees. Welcome to the haunting world of Skinwalkers, one of the Southwest's most terrifying legends that's deeply rooted in Navajo culture. But nowhere have these stories taken on a life of their own quite like in Utah, where the very mention of skinwalkers sends chills down local spines. You see, according to countless Utah residents, skinwalkers aren't just campfire stories. They're very real threats lurking in the state's vast wilderness. These beings are said to be medicine men who've chosen a dark path, gaining supernatural powers at a terrible cost. They can supposedly transform into any animal they desire, but something's always off about their appearance. Maybe the eyes are too human, or they move in ways that defy natural motion. The infamous Skinwalker Ranch in northeastern Utah has become ground zero for these encounters. Former owners have reported seeing wolves 3 times larger than normal, unidentifiable creatures that bullets couldn't harm, and animals that seem to shapeshift before their very eyes. Ranch hands have quit on the spot after witnessing things they can't explain, and even hardened skeptics have left the property shaken. But here's where it gets really interesting. While many dismiss these as just tall tales, the U.S. government has actually spent millions investigating the phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch. They're not just looking into skinwalker stories, but a whole range of unexplained events that seem to cluster in this region of Utah. Local law enforcement in Utah's rural areas still occasionally receives reports of skinwalker encounters. They tell of creatures running alongside vehicles at impossible speeds, of animals with human-like faces, and of shadowy figures that seem to vanish into thin air. Many officers won't even discuss these cases officially, but over a cup of coffee they'll admit, there are things out there they can't explain. The Ute and Navajo people have warned about these beings for centuries, and they take the threat seriously enough that many won't even speak about skinwalkers after dark. They say that simply talking about them can draw their attention. And trust me, that's the last thing you want. So next time you're driving through Utah's backcountry, and you see something move in your peripheral vision, something that doesn't quite look right, well, maybe it's best not to look too closely. After all, in the land of skinwalkers, sometimes ignorance really is bliss. Just remember, if you're ever out there and you see an animal that seems a little too interested in you, one that moves a little too purposefully, or looks at you with eyes that seem a little too human, don't stick around to investigate. The locals will tell you, it's better to be called paranoid than to never be seen again.